obsession is pretty simple and straightforward. You've all been there. Okay, me too. A lot. But, there's someone you're really into, but despite all your best efforts, they just don't feel the same way. And of course, you're going to, you would lend yourself to the fantasy of, boy, if only there was some magic trick I could pull, because that's how pathetic the situation is. When the reality is, you just gotta move on. That's the way it goes. There's no other way around it. Because even if you did have some sort of magic power, well, that's not nice. But of course, if it wasn't attempted, then there'd be no movie. So here, this guy, he's hopelessly enamored with his co-worker at this music store. And, he's got this moment to try to reach out to her and see if this could happen or what have you. And he's too shy and insecure and whatnot. Could it have ever happened? I don't know, and I guess we never will. Spoiler. So, instead, as a lark, he bought this little sort of gag gift type thing. It's the kind of piece of crap you could have ordered out of the back of comic books and stuff like that claims you get one wish when you snap this thing and to it. It makes a little jingle and stuff. But anyway, you make your wish, and then that's that. It comes true. So after a disastrous attempt to woo her, which he never really even made the attempt, and it's all hopeless, and he's all down on himself and everything. And so he decides to go ahead and do this magic wish thing. Lo and behold, it works. And now the woman of his dreams is passionately, obsessively in love with him. At first, he's all baffled. He can't believe this happened, and he says, well, I didn't think the thing was real. And I mean, who would, It doesn't really delve into what the supernatural parameters are here. He does go back to the store, and they have the rules for it, saying, no, that's it. You can't undo the wish. It'll end when you're dead. So, that tells you where you're going. So, the pitfalls and consequences of something like this, of course, unfold throughout the movie. And, oh boy, it's pretty early on, something's off here. Because the wish, whatever it consists of, is taken over this woman's mind completely, and she's not the woman anymore that he was so infatuated with. And it's just destroying her mind, and she's the obsession she has for him is all consuming to the point of violence. And she just the actress does very good at the crazy eyes and everything, and just becomes this haunting figure that he's stuck with. And she does one crazy thing after another, and it's pretty hilarious in a lot of ways, despite how dark and sick it all is. And then he's desperate. I gotta fix this thing, and he, of course, he wants to undo the you can't. He tries to figure out other things. He eventually he does it. Everybody around him is friends and whatnot, and he finds more out about them and stuff like that. They do have this little story going on between, there's about 4 main characters. Well, the 2 main characters, of course, and then the 2 other co-workers they have, so on and so forth. And of course, they start noticing, well, this is bizarre, the way she's acting, and just overnight she's like, so into you, and all that kind of thing. How it plays out. But it's very well performed. The tone, everything is spot on for how it unfolds. And of course, the ultimate thing is, be careful what you wish for type of thing. And in a more realistic scenario, it's someone you think is who you really want, for whatever, you're quite smitten. Then you get involved, and then you find out who she really is. And stuff like that. It can go south very quickly. and that sort of thing. But here, well, it's this magic trick type thing. And because the truth is, I don't know, given the right circumstances, if he'd had, more spine and simply asked her out, what are the other options here and whatnot? So maybe it would have worked out, and she would have really considered him. So there's a sad reality to it that there was another option. But, oh, good Lord. Oh, does he pay for this? Now, to be fair to the guy, he didn't really believe this magic trick would work. And I mean, even from almost immediately, it's not like there's very little enjoyment out of any of this. He's like, oh my God, she loves me. But all the while, even if, it had been nice, and she wasn't completely nuts, he did say, now he said the wish, I want her to be in love with me as much as I am with her, I believe is what he said. I mean, he's a bit of a mess. He's so hung up on her, and he I just don't. But he's not doing anything to the level of what she does. Good Lord, So, but the consequence and the overall moral of it is to utilize some sort of magical power is not the way. If such a thing existed, is not the way you go about this, because then it reduces her to this thing. She's just an item to collect. And there's really nothing there because everything she was erased immediately by the wish, and any kind of relationship or what have you didn't grow out of its own of maybe you can put the idea in her head and say, I like you. If you ever, you want to go see a movie or something, I'd really like to spend time with you and see where that goes, And maybe she would, he's not that bad of a guy. I don't know. And she gives him a shot, and then next thing you know, they hit it off, and that kind of thing. It's usually how it's supposed to go. Well, it's not the case here. And of course, if it's not going to happen at all, then of course, you got to move on and that sort of thing. And you can't, fantasize about weird rewriting of people's minds or whatever, and stuff like that. So, but boy, the consequences are brutal in this thing, if not darkly hilarious. So, now the plot of this, I don't know even where to look. I think there was a Tales from the Crypt episode that was something similar, or maybe I'm mistaking that with Tales from the Dark Side, or one of those, that there was a guy and he managed to get this woman to fall in love with him through a magic spell or some sort. And of course it all backfires. It goes horribly wrong. And but in that case, I seem to recall in that case, even after she died, she still came after him. So there was no ending, something like that. I just can't remember. But it all goes back to the you get too obsessive, which the whole movie Obsession. Well, it was he was being obsessive about her, and when it didn't work out, ultimately it's not entirely fair to him. I mean, he was infatuated, and I don't know, had he tried a little better, he just couldn't get the words out. He was too shy and nervous, and that sort of thing. But ultimately, she becomes obsessed with him, and it's terrible, and stuff like that. So that's ultimately, oh boy, the lesson there is to not completely devolve into obsession to the point that the obsession is all there is. It's not even about I'm so in love and all this sort of thing. So anyway, all terrible consequences, but it's a horror movie. What do you expect? But very well done. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Again, I'm not entirely certain how original it is, but it was well put together. And I can see why it shot to the top at the box office. So, congratulations on Obsession.